Before we talk about your time at Rangers so far, let's go back to the start. Where did football start out for you?
Oh, that's some time ago. Do you know what? I've always played for as long as I could remember. I don't ever remember not loving football, not watching football, not playing football, whether it was on my own or with my cousin or watching my brother, you know. So I think that's for me, it's just always been there. I think it's one of those things that I think it's either in you or it isn't. I was definitely part of the minority growing up. It was always, you know, girls shouldn't play football, but you can because you're okay. So, you know, I had a good group of lads around me that allowed me to play and allowed me to join in, which is always helpful when you can kick a ball a bit. So, yeah, it was difficult. Never something that I ever thought this would ever grow to. I think even if you'd have asked me 10 years ago, I wouldn't have believed it either. So, you know, where the game's gone to and how much it's grown has been massive, and it's brilliant to see, really. And I think it's just still in its ascendancy, and where it can get to, I think world's the oyster.
When you look back at your playing career, what are some of the highlights? What really stands out for you when you reflect back?
Obviously, the World Cup that I've spoken about, that'll be forever, you know, a special part of my career. I had to make a tough decision when I was like 28, 29. I knew I was coming towards the latter end of my career, and it looked as though I was starting to drop back into the England fold after being out for a while. And I had a choice to make. I had a full-time job at the time. I was coaching, I've always coached. I had a full-time job at the FA at the time. And it got to a point where it was like, are we going to give this a go and go, say, full-time? It wasn't really full-time wage. I would have had to have taken a massive pay cut. But I knew there was a potential of a World Cup around the corner, and I knew there was a potential of another Euros around the corner. And I was like, am I going to regret this? Am I going to, you know, be able to live with the fact if I turn this down now of what could have happened? And took my chances on going to a World Cup and a Euros, and thankfully that worked out for me. You play a very different part at international level than what you do at club level sometimes, but it's been a part of that special journey. I really feel that at England at that moment in time, that was a real turning point.
And no regrets at all?
Absolutely not. No, not when you got a bronze medal at the end of it. So I'm happy with that one.
When you were coming to the end of your playing career, what were you thinking about at that moment, and was it always going to be going to coaching? Yeah,
it was easy for me. I always knew that as soon as I retired, I was going to go into coaching. However that looked, I didn't know it was going to be management straight away. I always knew I wanted to earn my stripes and coach for a good few years. That's why I did it while I was playing. First got into it when I was at Arsenal, and it was something that they always had as an extra arm. Do you want to coach and come and do this? And the more I did it, the more I enjoyed it. I've literally coached every level you could imagine. I think I call it babysitting with the young under fives, and then I've done all the way through to, you know, college football, centre of excellences, senior football, and now into my managerial career of professional football. So I think to start off with, I found it easy, and then that love grew for coaching and wanting to be better, and then wanting to coach the best.
There was a sense of disappointment the way Rangers finished last season. So what were you inheriting when you arrived at the club?
Yeah, I think that was one of the toughest things, is the mental change and the mental stimulus for the rest of the players. That was one of the first things that I looked at when I came in, and it was, you know, getting these players to believe that they are the best in the country and they are the team to be reckoned with, and we are the team to beat. And it was just trying to change small things a little bit at a time. I was really conscious of coming in and changing too much too soon, because I know how much of a detriment that can be and how much of a negative effect it can have. I knew there wasn't a lot that needed changing. I knew there was a good group of players here. But watching them, I was like, I wanted them to have a little bit more confidence in their play, give them a real identity and a real way of playing that they really enjoyed playing in.
One thing you have changed is the style of play, and it intrigued a lot of people, I have to say, at the start of the season, particularly with the three at the back and players maybe playing out of position. Has that always been your philosophy, or is that something you've developed since you've kind of come to Rangers?
I knew what I wanted from certain positions, and I knew what the players could bring in those positions. I was never going to force a formation on a team that wasn't ready for it or didn't have the players to play in that formation. I think it's important that you nurture those players into certain roles that they can fulfil without forcing it and not having the buy-in from the players as well. But watching the team from last year and doing my own little research, I knew that, you know, this team could more than comfortably play a way of playing that I liked. Hence why I took the job as well. I wouldn't have took it if I didn't think that I could help this team do that. As you said, I think there's certain players that are playing out of position, but it's it's using their strengths in that position, and I think it's seeing those strengths and seeing that ability to bring that to life. And as I say, really looking at players' strengths as before weakness.
You want to win trophies, the club want to win trophies. How do you view the next few months? How do you keep this momentum going?
We've not won anything yet, and that's the overriding message from me to these players, and we know that, the players know that. We're not on different pages. We know we're happy with where we're at right now, and we know that's just deserved. These group of players work extremely hard on the pitch day in, day out to be where they're at, and it's no coincidence that we're doing really well at the moment. It's just keeping going and maintaining that standard. That's a big thing for us at the club, is keeping that bar high, and we know we'll end up where we deserve to be at the end of the season, and we're hoping that's exactly where we are now.